Metanera screamed loudly and lost no time in rushing forward, but it was Demeter who snatched up the baby. "Fool that you are," she said indignantly to Metanera. "I would have made your son immortal, but that is now impossible. He shall be a great hero, but in the end he will have to die. I, the goddess Demeter, promise it." With that, old age fell from her, and she grew in stature. Golden hair spread down over her shoulders, so that the great hall was filled with light. She turned and went out of the doorway, leaving the baby on the ground, and Metanera too amazed and frightened even to take him up. All the while that Demeter had been wandering, she had given no thought to her duties as the harvest goddess. Instead, she was almost glad that the others should suffer because she was suffering. In vain the oxen spent their strength in dragging the heavy plowshare through the soil. In vain did the sower, with his bag of grain, throw out even handfuls of white barley in a wide arc as he strode. The greedy birds had a feast off of the seed corn that season, or if it started to sprout, sun baked it and rains washed it away. Nothing would grow. As the gods looked down, they saw threatening the earth a famine such as never had been known. Even the offerings to the gods were neglected by despairing men who could no longer spare anything from their dwindling stores. At last Zeus sent Iris, the rainbow, to seek out Demeter and appeal to her to save mankind. Dazzling Iris swept down from Olympus, swift as a ray of light, and found Demeter sitting in her temple, the dark cloak still around her, and her head bowed on her hand. Though Iris urged her with the messages of Zeus, and offered beautiful gifts or whatever power among the gods she chose, Demeter would not lift her head or listen. All she said was that she would neither set foot on Olympus nor let fruit grow on the earth until Persephone was restored to her from the kingdom of the dead. At last, Zeus saw that he must send Hermes of the golden sandals to bring back Persephone to the light. The messenger found dark-haired Hades sitting upon his throne with Persephone's, pale and sad, beside him. She had neither eaten nor drunk since she had been in the land of the dead. She sprang up with joy at the message of Hermes, while the dark king looked gloomier than ever, for he really loved his queen. Though he could not disobey the command of Zeus, he was crafty, and he pressed Persephone to eat or drink with him as they parted. Now with joy in her heart, she could not refuse all food. Persephone was eager to be gone, but since the king entreated her, she took a pomegranate from him to avoid argument and delay. Giving in to his pleading, she ate 7 of the seeds. Then Hermes took her with him, and she came out into the upper air. When Demeter saw Hermes with her daughter, she started up, and Persephone too rushed forward with a glad cry and flung her arms around her mother's neck. For a long time the two caressed each other, but at last Demeter began to question the girl. "Did you eat or drink anything with Hades?" she asked her daughter anxiously, and the girl replied, "Nothing until Hermes released me. Then in my joy I took a pomegranate and ate 7 of its seed." "Alas," said the goddess in dismay, "my daughter, what have you done? The fates have said that if you ate anything in the land of the shadow, you must return to Hades and rule with him as his queen. However, you ate not the whole pomegranate, but only 7 of the seeds. For 7 months of the year, therefore, you must dwell in the underworld, and the remaining 5 you may live with me. Thus the fates have decreed, and even Zeus could not alter their law. For 7 months of every year, Persephone is lost to Demeter, and rules pale and sad over the dead. At this time Demeter mourns, trees shed their leaves, cold comes, and the earth lies still and dead. But when, in the 8th month, Persephone returns, her mother is glad, and the earth rejoices. The wheat springs up, bright, fresh, and green in the plowland. Flowers unfold, birds sing, and young animals are born. Everywhere the heavens smile for joy, or weep sudden showers of gladness upon the springing earth.